Hello and welcome to the Good One podcast. My name is Laura and I am here every day this year journeying through the Bible with the goal of finishing reading it by the end of the year. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the notification button, so you can know when I post a video tomorrow. Okay, yesterday we were reading in Genesis. We learned about Isaac and Rebekah, how they became married, and we learned that Sarah, Isaac's mom, had passed away. So today we are starting in Genesis again, and we're going to chapter 25. We're doing 25 and 26, so only 2 chapters today. It might be a short video. Before we get started, go ahead and take this moment to pause the video, to worship, and to pray. I hope that you get something from this, not just me and my silly quips and words, but also like something genuinely stands out to you from the text. And if it does, if you get something from the Word of God today, I would love for you to drop a comment below so we can talk about it. What stood out to you the most? Okay, I'm excited to get started. It's been a pretty relaxing time. I thought that Abraham's servant yesterday was really funny. If you've read through Genesis chapters like 23 and 24, specifically chapter 24, Abraham's servant likes to retell the story like from beginning to end, and I appreciated that and his storytelling ways. So now we're getting started, and it's going to start off talking about Abraham's death and his descendants. So chapter 25. Verse 1. Abraham took another wife whose name was Keturah, which to me sounds like Keturah from the Avatar, The Last Airbender series. So I like Keturah. Sad that Sarah is dead, but happy that Abraham could find love after Sarah passed away. So good for him. She bore him Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua, which is a lot of babies because Sarah only had Isaac. Okay, Jokshan fathered Sheba and Dedan. The sons of Dedan were Ashurim, Letushim, and Leumim. The sons of Midian were Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Eldah. All these were the children of Keturah. Abraham gave all he had to Isaac. But to the sons of his concubines, Abraham gave gifts. And while he was still living, he sent them away from his son Isaac, eastward to the east country. So I love that this first paragraph of this chapter is talking about all the babies that Abraham had with like his new wife, and the fact that he had sons with concubines, like children with other women that were not his wife. So he's had a lot of kids, and still verse 5 is literally like 6 or 7 words long, and all it says is Abraham gave all he had to Isaac. Period. Verse 6. It's like, let's just clarify. He had lots of babies, but still everything went to Isaac. So kudos to you, Isaac. Kind of unfortunate that all the other sons were sent away, but you know, that's just how it happens, apparently. All right, verse 7. These are the days of Abraham, or the days of the years of Abraham's life, 175 years. Abraham breathed his last and died in good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. Okay, full of years. Yes, many, many years. 175, which God had said that he's capping us off at 120. So I'm interested to see when that starts, because I feel like we went from 800 to 600 to 400 to 170-ish, and now it's like, okay, it's going to get to 120 at a certain point. Verse 9, Isaac and Ishmael, his sons, buried him in the cave of Machpelah in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar, the Hittite, east of Mamre, the field that Abraham purchased from the Hittites. There, Abraham was buried with his wife, Sarah. Yeah, that happened in yesterday's reading. He went and he bought that field. And then Sarah must have been buried there. So now they're burying him there. And I like that it's Isaac and Ishmael. So it's not mentioning any of the other sons who he had, but it is specifically saying Isaac and Ishmael. And if you remember, Ishmael had been sent away. So it's cool that he was like made known that his dad died and he was able to come and help bury him. All right, verse 11. After the death of Abraham, God blessed Isaac, his son, and Isaac settled at Beer-lahai Roi. So now Isaac is being blessed, which makes sense because Isaac was the son who God had promised to Sarah and to Abraham. None of the other concubine babies were promised. So, verse 12. These are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar, the Egyptian, Sarah's servant, bore to Abraham. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael, named in the order of their birth. Nebaioth, the firstborn of Ishmael, and Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedemah. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names, by their villages and by their encampments. 12 princes according to their tribes, which makes sense because God said he would have many descendants too. These are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137. Aha, see? It was 175 for Abraham, now 137 for Ishmael. We're getting close. He breathed his last and died and was gathered to his people. They settled from Havilah to Shur, which is opposite Egypt in the direction of Assyria. He settled over against all his kinsmen. Just between Abraham's kids and Ishmael's kids, it's enough to populate. Like, these are princes, 12 princes. Like, they're populating so much of the earth. So it really makes sense how, like, to me, it makes sense how we all come from Noah. Because, like, look at all of the kids that just came from Abraham. And remember that Abraham had a brother who also had kids. So lots of kids. All right, the birth of Esau and Jacob. These are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham fathered Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban the Aramean, to be his wife. Okay, and Isaac prayed to the Lord for his wife because she was barren. Just like Sarah was barren. And the Lord granted his prayer, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. The children struggled together within her, and she said, "If it is thus, why is this happening to me?" So she went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb. So now we know there's children struggling together inside of her. So she's pregnant with more than one baby. So birth of Esau and Jacob, that makes sense. Those are twins. And it's also, I think it's so interesting that she was barren, and so was Sarah, and that Isaac was the most important child that Abraham had, and according to, you know, the Bible and knowing his story. And now from Isaac, they're praying, and that's how they have these twins. So it just shows that, like, you know, maybe Isaac ends up having more kids, but these, I'm not sure, I don't know, but these kids are the ones that are going to carry this story and carry this lineage until we get to the most important person that comes out of this line, which is Jesus. Because I'm assuming, like, how cool would that be? I don't know for sure. So, but I'm assuming that from Noah and then carrying all the way through, now we have to Jacob and Esau. Like, this is going to continue on, and this is going to be where Jesus comes from. That's my assumption. That would be so cool. I feel like that's what it is. I really do. I feel like that's what it is. Okay, so the babies are fighting inside of Rebekah. She's really sad. Why is this happening to me? So she went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord said to her, verse 23, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you shall be divided. The one shall be stronger than the other. The older shall serve the younger. So which is opposite, right? Because the younger should be the one serving the oldest. Like, if you think about royalty, because there's 2 nations in her womb, if you think about royalty, the oldest is typically the first in line, and then the youngest is the one who serves the older brother. Verse 24. When her days to give birth were completed, behold, there were twins in her womb. Ha, surprise, surprise. Verse 25. The first came out red, all his body like a hairy cloak. So they called his name Esau. What does Esau mean? Oh, there's no little thing at the bottom. Maybe it means red and hairy. That'd be really funny. 26. Afterwards, his brother came out with his hand holding Esau's heel, so his name was called Jacob. And if you look at the bottom of your Bible, typically it has the little numbers, and you can go down there and it'll tell you what things mean. Fun fact. Jacob means he takes by the heel or he cheats. He's probably trying to hold his brother back. Like, get back in here, baby. I'm going first. And he did not. He did not come out first. Isaac was 60 years old when she bore them. So this is 20 years after they were married. Long time to have babies nowadays. Anyways. Okay, 27. When the boys grew up, Esau was a skillful hunter and a man of the field, while Jacob was a quiet man, dwelling in tents. Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Isaac loved that Esau brought steak home, and Rebekah loved that Jacob was nice and quiet. Maybe he read her books or something. Very kind. Esau sells his birthright. Once, when Jacob was cooking a stew, Esau came in from the field, and he was exhausted. And Esau said to Jacob, "Let me eat some of that red stew, for I am exhausted." Therefore, his name was called Edom. So like a nickname, meaning red. Verse 31. Jacob said, "Sell me your birthright now." Esau said, "I'm about to die. Of what use is my birthright to me?" Are you actually, though? Are you really about to die? Like, you just came in from the field. It says you're a skillful hunter. Are you really going to die right now? Jacob said, "Swear to me now." So he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew, and he ate and drank and rose and went his way. He's not about to die, because if he was able to sit down and eat that meal and then get up and walk away like normal, like, you were being dramatic. That's called the drama. Thus Esau despised his birthright. I don't know why you're mad at your birthright. You should be mad at yourself. You just sold it for some lentil stew. When you're a hunter, bread and lentil stew. Come on, my man. That was not a smart choice. Chapter 26. Now there was a famine in the land, besides the former famine that was in the days of Abraham. So this is another famine. Lots of famines. And Isaac went to Gerar, to Abimelech, king of the Philistines. And the Lord appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Dwell in the land of which I shall tell you. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and will bless you, for to you and to your offspring I will give all these lands, and I will establish the oath that I swore to Abraham your father. I will multiply your offspring as the stars of heaven, and will give to your offspring all these lands. And in your offspring all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws." So not only was Isaac already blessed, but now he's offering the same deal with Abraham to Isaac. He's telling him, don't go to Egypt. That's what I told your dad. You stay here. Isaac and Abimelech. Verse 6. So Isaac settled in Gerar. When the men of the place asked him about his wife, he said, "She is my sister." Where have I heard this before? Your father. You're just like your father. For he feared to say my wife. Oh, I wonder why, because she's so pretty. Thinking lest the men of the place should kill me because of Rebekah, because she was attractive in appearance. Was this like a thing back then? Was everybody telling everybody that their wives were their sisters because they were afraid they were going to die? Or is it just with the really, really pretty ladies? I can't talk. This is wild. She's not your sister. She's your cousin. So if you're going to, try to throw people off, you could at least say that. That's and it's so funny because I feel like when I was younger, that was like the joke of like people dating and being like, "Oh, this is my sister." And it's like, what a lame joke. And then it's literally in the Bible, and this is how these men are like protecting themselves by saying like, "Oh, if people think that you're single, then they won't hurt me." It's like, okay, but then what happens to her? Like, everybody's gonna want her, right? Because she's so beautiful. Verse 8. When he had been there a long time, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out of a window and saw Isaac laughing with Rebekah, his wife. They're over there chit-chatting. They're giggling. They're flirting a little bit. Look at them giggling. So Abimelech called Isaac and said, "Behold, she is your wife. How then could you say, 'She is my sister'?" Isaac said to him, "Because I thought, lest I die because of her." Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the people might easily have lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." So Abimelech warned all the people, saying, "Whoever touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death." I'm sorry, Abimelech is the same guy that Abraham pulled this with Sarah, isn't it? Yeah. A treaty with Abimelech is in chapter 21. And it's talking about protecting them. No, this is just talking about the land, I swear. I don't know. Is Abimelech the same guy? We had read it. I'm going to go back and check. I'm not going to do it. Oh, yeah, it was. Oh, my gosh. Chapter 20. Abimelech is literally the same guy that Abraham pulled this on when he said, "She's my sister." And then Abimelech, had her in his house or whatever, but hadn't slept with her, and he was terrified. So now Like this poor man is probably like father, like son, because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Your dad came in here, he pulled the same crap, and now you're in here telling me she's your sister. She's not. I see you laughing. I know what this is. That's wild. Could you imagine pulling the same lie on somebody that like your parent did, and then being like, I know you're lying. Like, that's insane. That's crazy. Okay. That's so funny. Sorry, guys. I had to turn back and check, but I think it's so funny that it's literally the same man. And they're just like doing the same thing to him. All right. Verse 12, and we're still in chapter 26. And Isaac sowed in that land and reaped in the same year 100-fold. The Lord blessed him, and the man became rich and gained more and more until he became very wealthy. He had possessions of flocks and herds and many servants, so that the Philistines envied him. Now the Philistines had stopped and filled with earth all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham, his father. Wow. So all the wells that Abraham had dug, they filled with dirt. They were like, we don't want them. And Abimelech said to Isaac, go away from us, for you are much mightier than we. Yeah, he probably remembers his dad was like, look what happened when your dad was here, and now you're over here pulling the same thing. You go bye-bye. You can't stay with us. No, thank you. Verse 17. So Isaac departed from there and encamped in the valley of Gerar and settled there. And Isaac dug again the wells of water that had been dug in the days of Abraham his father, which the Philistines had stopped after the death of Abraham. And he gave them the names that his father had given them. But when Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found there a well of spring water, the herdsmen of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, the water is ours. So he called the name of the well Esek, because they contended with him. And you can check the bottom, and the bottom tells us that Esek means contention. So a very literal name. Isaac is a very serious literal man, apparently, except for when he's calling his wife his sister. Then they dug another well, and they quarreled over that also. So he called its name Sitnah. What does that mean? Quarreling? Enmity. Yeah, same thing. It's like fighting or frustration or disdain or whatever. Verse 22. And he moved from there and dug another well, and they did not quarrel over it. So he called its name Rehoboth, saying, for now the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And the name means room. So once again, a very literal name. Verse 23. From there he went up to Beersheba, and the Lord appeared to him the same night and said, I am the God of Abraham your father. Fear not, for I am with you, and will bless you and multiply your offspring for my servant Abraham's sake. You know, I've seen people say, fear not, for I am with you a lot. And I love that, like, when God comes to talk to people, he says, fear not, for I am with you. Like, I'm here with you, and I'm going to bless you. Like, I'm going to take care of you. So, and it says, for my servant Abraham's sake. So not for Isaac's sake, but because of the deal he had with Abraham, and because Isaac is Abraham's son, he is taken care of, and he will be blessed. So he built an altar there and called upon the name of the Lord and pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servants dug a well. When Abimelech went to him from Gerar with Ahuzath, his advisor, and Phicol, the commander of his army, Isaac said to them, why have you come to me, seeing that you hate me and have sent me away from you? I'm just going to say, hate is a very strong word. And also, you literally lied and said that your wife was your sister, and they already know that if they sleep with your sister wife, that they will have like plagues and bad stuff happen to them because they dealt with it with your dad. So I'm just saying, they were valid in sending you away, okay? So let's see what they have to say. Verse 28. They said, we see plainly that the Lord has been with you. So we said, let there be a sworn pact between us, between you and us, and let us make a covenant with you, that you will do us no harm, just as we have not touched you and have done to you nothing but good, and have sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed of the Lord. So he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. In the morning they rose early and exchanged oaths, and Isaac sent them on their way, and they departed from him in peace. That same day Isaac's servant came and told him about the well that they had dug, and said to him, we have found water. He called it Sheba, therefore the name of the city in Beersheba to this day. Sheba means oath, which is, another literal name. Love it, love it. I think it's cool how they're saying like, you're now blessed by the Lord, so we want to make this deal with you. And they can tell that's like what is happening. And they haven't done anything bad. Like, let's make this deal. I'm going to erase all of that. He called it Sheba. Therefore, the name of the city in Beersheba to this day. Sheba meaning oath. Again, very literal. I want to highlight that they say you are now the blessed of the Lord, because Isaac hasn't done anything for them to come and want to make an oath with him, but it's literally all of God's doing. God is blessing Isaac. God is taking care of Isaac. God is making sure that Isaac has what he needs. And from them being able to see that Isaac has all these things, this is why they're coming and saying, hey, we want to make an oath with you. We see that you are blessed. So I think that's really cool because they see the Lord moving in Isaac's life. And that's not from Isaac's own doing. Honestly, Isaac's own doing was him lying and calling his wife his sister. So, verse 34. When Esau was 40 years old, he took Judith, the daughter of Beeri, the Hittite, to be his wife, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite. And they made life bitter for Isaac and Rebekah. Okay, so he has two wives. He has Judith and he has Basemath. Literally base, math together. It's an interesting word. I wonder how it's said in Hebrew. It probably sounds a lot prettier than Basemath. All right. And they made life bitter, so they were probably a challenge. But also he has two wives, so I can only imagine that that's challenging. Okay, we're at the end of those chapters. That was pretty quick today. Thank you so much for journeying through with me. Please let me know if you learned anything new or if you heard anything interesting or anything stood out to you. Comment below, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Adios.